This is Total Drama, and these are 13 of my closest friends who signed up to be filmed and tortured by me. And you guys absolutely loved it, so seriously, thank you. We're down to the final 3. They've outlasted 10 of their peers already, but which one of them can outlast 2 more? These 3 contestants have been tortured both mentally and physically, but mostly physically, for the chance to win $250, along with the title of Cursed Champion. But before we do that, let's take a quick look at how each of them got to where they are now. Brayden began this game as one of the few newbies joining the roster, but also one of the luckiest. Having not played or watched the previous season, Brayden was quickly skeptical of all returning players. Luckily for him, he was placed on the tribe with the most newbies, allowing him to quickly form bonds with his fellow tribe mates. Towards the beginning, Brayden was able to locate the very first immunity idol of the season. Although he was tricked into playing it, it helped keep him in the game for a significant portion. Towards the end, Brayden got lucky multiple times in a row, leading him all the way to the final 3. Will this shovel-loving newbie's luck finally run out? Or will he be eliminated in favor of a sibling finale? That's right, our other 2 players are siblings. Being the biggest Survivor fan, Emma knows this game in and out. And better yet, she knows how to play it.
Interesting how Alexa went on for us. So.
Because we want them to say.
After being one of the biggest threats in Season 1, Emma came back for redemption. Challenge-wise, she was on the dominating team for the first half of the season, but the second she was up for elimination, Emma received a vote at every tribal council she attended. Her main strategy has been making alliances both on and off of her team. Will her alliances pay off in giving her their jury vote, or will the jury think she played a too laid-back game? Luke started his journey with an absolute drive to win any and every challenge he played, whether he knew it or not. You're good.
Thank you.
Using his team and his sister, Luke easily made it to merge without attending tribal. He was the first ever contestant to have multiple idols, which would have proven useful if he didn't already have immunity. Luke was also the only one to give the villain of the season, Holly, a chance in the game. Throughout the merge, Luke debated on betraying his sister time and time again, but he never had the guts to go through with it. Will he finally betray his sister in order to win, or will he lose now that he is idoless? Who will win the second season of Total Drama Survivor? Will it be one of the siblings, or the worm who fell in love with a shovel? All these questions and more will be answered tonight. Grab your popcorn, folks. It's the season finale of Total Drama Survivor. Cursed!
Wow. So I didn't know. Yeah, my goal was actually to get Brayden out. So that was my fault. That was totally my fault. However, it still played in my favor. Not exactly what I wanted, but this is a fallback plan. Everything is still under control.
Thanks, Luke. But should have voted Sydney. I wanted Emma out.
Okay, so somehow I've made it to the final 3. I'm a little bit in shock. I don't really I'm excited obviously, and I'm super duper happy and I'm thrilled. I'm really, really happy.
They're gonna work together to get me out and then fight it out at the end.
My goal is to get Emma out because I think I have a much better chance at convincing the jury to vote for me than Brayden.
I really thought I'd go home a long time ago. And I think there's a chance if me or Luke wins the next challenge, I think there's a chance. I can't believe I'm here. This is kind of crazy. I did not expect this, and I did not expect it to be this group. I really thought it was gonna be different. No matter what, I'm happy because I made it farther than last time. I feel like I've adequately redeemed myself.
I don't think Emma has played a good game this season. I think in season number 1, everyone was looking at her as a threat. And rightfully so, she is a threat. But I think her hearing that over and over and over again, I think that got to her head. But she is nice and she knows how to speak. So I know that I'm gonna have an easier time convincing the jury to vote for me over Brayden than me over Emma.
I'm gonna have to try way harder on these next ones, I feel like. Don't know what they are. Almost don't want to know. But if I go out next, at least I made top 3. I'm happy for that. Schemy little siblings.
Final 3. Welcome to your final challenge. Welcome to Deadly Drawbridge. The final 3 will be forced to balance on a beam above a flowing river. Every 15 minutes, the beam will shrink in size. Last one to fall off wins immunity.
This challenge has officially started. You could be here for an hour. Or 2. We have the time. So it's interesting that Emma decided to go barefoot.
Yeah, I think I should follow suit.
Really? You think the shoes are hindering you? Oh, Luke wobbling a bit.
Yeah,
No,
it
I was
wobbles
just
the whole
dancing.
thing when you do that.
Just dancing.
I actually saw the coolest. Okay. I saw the coolest video on TikTok of this guy tap dancing to Your Fault in Into the Woods, but he was doing it in every rhythm, like every syllable was another.
Braden ditching the shoes halfway through.
Why are you doing that?
The shoes.
Don't wobble me off.
Yeah?
Alright, hey.
And you're keeping the socks still, huh?
Yeah. Braden,
Before that.
you have changed, like,
Ah, I
5
poked
things.
myself in the eye.
Oh.
I've what?
You've taken your sunglasses off. You've taken your shoes off, and now you're taking your jacket off. When are you gonna stop? How much would it take for you to get naked right now?
A lot of money.
Really?
That's very indescriptive.
I don't know.
Everyone say what their amount would be. To get naked right now? Completely naked?
Look.
My brother is right here, so I think it'd be a pretty high number. And Hunter would have to stare at this footage for hours.
Hey, on the bright side, I didnidn't actually say this,
What
but
you doing, man?
Scratching my foot. I got a itchy foot.
Okay,
Braden
sorry.
is way too comfortable in here.
That's what I said earlier.
Braden, you didn't appear last season.
I did not.
And yet, you're in the final 3 this season.
I didn't expect it. That's for sure. Came here to have a good time. But I think at this point I'm here to win. Don't know exactly when that switched. Did.
Probably wouldn't count the shovel. Fun times end when you find a shovel.
When I find my shovel, things go.
Hey, you know what? If you win this season, I'll let you keep the shovel.
Oh, I was gonna keep shovel either way.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted the camera to not know that, so I'm gonna say it again. Hey, Braden, if you win this season, I'll let you keep that shovel.
Thank you.
You're
It'll be an honor.
welcome.
Can I keep it even if I don't
We're
win?
gonna keep both those in. Third thing is gonna drop in 3, 2, 1. Lift up your toes a bit. You're down to 2.
My foot is itchy.
This is significantly harder.
Oh, Braden's wobbling.
Hobbit.
Ew, Emma's toes. Ew.
Ah, get off of me! Boing!
I'm not putting my toes on the internet.
Does this count as half shoving people off?
No, that's just dancing. Yeah, have a little dance party.
Yeah, you guys can wiggle too. That wasn't against the rules.
So what do you guys each plan on using the $250 for?
Pocketing it.
I think I would put it towards a plane ticket.
To where?
To see my boyfriend. Shut up. My boyfriend goes to med school in Prague, so I don't see him much. I'm gonna see him in 13 days, and then after that it'll probably be another year or maybe 10 months, so it would be really nice if I could put that towards a plane ticket to see him.
I haven't really thought about it. It's not really about the money.
It's about the principle.
Oh,
Absolutely.
30 minutes. Kristen? Alright, you guys ready? 3, 2, 1. Emma's out. Braden's out.
Oh, I tried to jump
All
far.
at once. Oh man.
Luke, you win immunity.
Okay.
Emma and Braden, one of you is going home.
I feel so ashamed. But it is how it went. I did my best.
So close. So close. I couldn't find the footing I wanted.
Luke won immunity, so he is essentially gonna pick who goes to the final with him.
I'm scared. Luke's gonna pick Emma. He did mention on the way back that They were differing in ideas a lot. Luke is conflicted, so I guess that's a good thing. I didn't really say anything. I didn't want to push him towards her. Really hope he picks me.
If he picked Brayden, I wouldn't blame him. If he and I weren't brother and sister and like so tight, and like if we weren't brother and sister, I would take Brayden. I've thought about it. I'm sure he's thinking about it too. So I don't know. He could take Brayden and I think win. He could take me, maybe still win. I would like to think that I could beat him out, but I don't know if I could get the votes.
I think Emma is too much of a threat, and I have a better chance at winning the game against Brayden than with Emma. However, she is my sister. Some people would see it as a good move. Some people would see it as, oh, he's a good person. After all, maybe some other people would see it as a weak move. I think I stand a chance against Emma. Maybe not as much against Brayden, but I don't want to be the villain. In all my confessionals, I was saying, I'm taking Brayden or I'm taking Sydney. Emma's out of here.
But now it's whether to go through or not.
That's the question.
Congratulations on making it to the final 3. Unfortunately, you may have noticed, only 2 marshmallows sit before you. The jury is no longer here. I sent them home for the afternoon. Alright, let's get into it. Luke, obviously, you want immunity. There's not a better time to have it than right now. How you feeling about that?
It is a difficult choice. I will say that. I'm very torn right now.
Alright, and with that, I think it's time to vote.
I knew they were sticking together the whole time. I knew they were gonna pull each other up to the very end. The question is this where he breaks it?
Brayden, it was actually a really fun time getting to know you. I hope that he takes me, but I would understand if he took you. No hard feelings.
I'm voting for the person I'm not taking to council. This is a really hard decision for me, and I might regret this.
Luke, you get a marshmallow. Last season, I didn't read the votes. I think this season, I should read them. First vote. Brayden. Emma. Okay. Second vote. Emma. The final member of the jury and the one not in the final 2. Brayden. Emma. Here's your marshmallow. Brayden, you can say your final words. Luke and Emma, you two will face the jury in approximately 3 hours. Good luck.
Thank you.
And that's why I wanted her out way earlier. Because I knew there was a very high likelihood that wasn't gonna break even at the end. I made it pretty far, first time too. Both of them were there last time. So, I think I did pretty decent.
Happy.
I'm in the final 2. I don't even know like what to do. Like I'm so happy. Luke picked me.
I folded. I took Emma. Brayden's a good player. He put up a good fight, but I think that this is still going to work out in my favor.
Wow, what comes next? Let's see. People on the jury: Kyle, Brian, Sean, Sydney, Brayden.
And I'll be thinking of everything I have to say, because it's going to be tough. It is going to be really tough to beat Emma.
I really, really want to portray that I am my own person separate from my brother. I got here not because of him.
Emma did play good, and as much as I didn't trust her the entire time, I'm glad that it's her. I am. This has been really, really fun.
I'm a little bit worried because his whole thing is like, I'm going to be a lawyer. So he's good at argument, but so am I.
Welcome to the final ceremony. I guess there's only 7 of you in here. So without further ado, the one person who unfortunately had to leave through a family emergency. Welcome in, Holly. She didn't get to finish in the game, but she at least is going to ask a jury question, since she technically did make it that far, but she won't be able to have a jury vote. Would the final four like to come in? You know your spots? Please head to them. That's right. A sibling rivalry.
It was called a few times.
None of us expected that, but
No, definitely not.
welcome to the final tribal council. As you can see, there are two that lie before you, and they just happen to be siblings. We have the jury in front of us, and they will decide which of these two deserves the $250 and the title of Cursed Champion.
First up, Kyle.
Alright, so here's a curious little question. Naturally, two of you being siblings, $250 ends up in one of your pockets. Where does that fall in relation to each other? Say, if your sibling is in a tight spot and needs some cash. Effectively, how willing? Just what is the extent of your generosity?
We kind of talked about it a little bit, and we both agreed that like we're not going to be mad about anything, but we said like whoever wins, we can like take him out to coffee or lunch or get him a snack or something.
Essentially, we're not planning on splitting the money, but I think it's in good faith to buy me a coffee or me buy you a coffee.
Next up, Brian.
From this game, is there one, I guess, action or decision you made that you regret?
There, like Luke said, there were some things that happened or strategies that he eventually went forward with that I argued against, that I didn't think were a good idea. I would argue that the reason they worked out in his favor is more circumstantial than anything that has to do with his strategy. So I think I should have argued harder for him. I think I should have pushed harder against that.
It's tough for me. My original thought was I regret not taking Emma's advice. On second thought though, that's absolutely not my answer. I think, honestly, I think those decisions going against Emma's advice are the decisions that got me to where I was. My biggest regret is Sydney. Absolutely. What happened there was I thought I knew how a cursed idol worked. What I thought would happen is you play the cursed idol, and if you play the cursed idol, you immediately go home. I played the idol for Brayden because I wanted it to be me and Sydney and Emma in the final three, and that is not how a cursed idol works. And I accidentally sent Sydney home.
Next up, Sean.
Both of you played a very similar game as me being allied with you guys since the very beginning almost. You guys seem to always like stick together and already stand out. So I just want to wonder, what like do you think like stands out and makes you think that you like deserve this one over the other?
I do think that Emma is a great player. She's a definite threat, and she absolutely has the potential to win this. And I think that got to her head. In a lot of our conversations where we were strategizing together, she was just saying, just play it safe, lay low. And I was saying, no, we need to go for this. We need to take this opportunity. So I think that was our biggest difference.
I would agree that our biggest difference was the amount of risks we would take, or not even the amount, but the type of risks that we would take. And I stand by my earlier statement that the risks that Luke took were too great. And I could see them backfiring not only on him, but on me, which is a lot of the reason why I would argue against a lot of his moves.
Next up, Sydney.
Okay, so Emma, I kind of have a two-part question for you. First of all, I happen to know that at one point you had what you thought was a hidden immunity idol, a bottle. First of all, what was your thought process in not telling the rest of your team, your alliance, that you had what you thought was a hidden immunity idol? And two, I happen to know that you asked Luke to play the cursed idol on me. Was that part of your scrambling, or what was your thought process there?
Okay, I'd love to unpack this. First of all, I did not have a hidden immunity bottle, really at any point in the game. After that whole scramble, when Brayden played his bottle, I went out to my bag and I found a bottle on the porch, and I showed it to Treff, and I was like, hey man, what is that? And is this the same bottle that Brayden played? So I didn't actually have an idol there, so I
can't quite answer the whole of your question. Okay. Oh, and part 2 was the playing of the cursed idol. The reason I asked for that is, 1, we didn't know what it did. I didn't think that it would immediately send the person home. I thought maybe it was a chance to re-vote. Maybe it was a chance to like re-vote and then have that person not be able to vote, or maybe only they vote or something like that. So because we didn't know what it did, I trusted you more than I trusted Brayden with it.
Luke, I have to ask, was this your plan all along?
To get Emma up here. At the very, very beginning, it was my hope.
Okay.
Just because I thought it would be really, really cool. As the game went on, I was like, no. No, that's not gonna happen. The reason I chose Emma over Brayden was because it would be so mean to stab my sister in the back in this way. So, no, this was not my plan at all.
Next up, Brayden.
Which one of you should I vote for and why?
Emma does bring up a pretty good point about the circumstantial survival of everything. I can't really say how true that is. You know, for me, I'd say like those were my cards. I played them, you know, I played them good, but of course there was circumstantial stuff that kept me in. There was circumstantial stuff that kept every single one of us in. However, I would still argue that making the risk to take those cards that put me in a better spot and may have paid off that I couldn't really control, I was the one that put me in that spot.
Yes, Luke did take a lot of risks, and taking risks is part of the game, but also part of the game is being smart about when you take the risks. And I would argue that I also took a few risks. For instance, my dear Kyle, a lot of the reason I believe that he's sitting there right now is because of a split-second decision that Sydney and I had to make together when it was the 4 of us sitting at Tribal. Sydney and I knew we were both in trouble. Kyle wasn't really being very clear. He was a little bit aloof about, we were trying to flip him against you, and he wasn't really letting us know if he was gonna flip, and I knew that I needed to save my bet, and that was the time to make a risky move. When he was in confessional for like 40 seconds, we turned to you and say, can you vote against Kyle? Can you flip?
And finally, Holly.
I was curious by my early departure. I wasn't voted out or pushed out. I had to leave, unfortunately. Did you see my departure as a blessing or a curse?
Ultimately, like, I think because you weren't here, things played out in a way that was in our favor, but I wouldn't necessarily say that that's a good thing.
Holly, I honestly do appreciate our alliance. You know, I do wish that you could have stayed, and the game would have been different if you would have stayed. But for me, you know, it's part of the plan. Gotta move forward, adapt to every situation you can, make everything play out in your favor.
You guys have rested your case. There's no more you can do. You've made it as far as you can in this game. It is now up to you guys. One by one, you will each go into the confessional, the main one, and you will write down the name of the person you want to see win this game. Alright? You're writing for a winner. Put that vote in the tally box, and we'll announce them soon.
All questions asked, all arguments made, all pasts considered. The decision is made. Enjoy your sibling coffee trip.
And this decision definitely comes down to what you think the game should be played like, what your vision of the game is. The intellectual aspect is definitely underrated and should be more of a focus in this game.
Part of it's cool since you're siblings, but part of it's also kind of lame that they're siblings. If only I would be there. If it weren't for the dumb bottle.
I feel like if season 1 hadn't happened, I would be more inclined to vote for Emma because I know how hard she can play. I know how much of a strategist she can be, but I feel like she did none of that.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Emma has been talking so much about being the smartest, being the strategist who's playing the long game. But I feel like Luke almost played it so well because he focused on the now. Who is going out next? What do I need to do to stay in right now? Yes, there was some long game that he had to play, but in the moment, that is what matters.
So, let's find out who wins. In here are the 5 votes of the jury members for one of the 2 of you. You want to see your name written down. Alright. First vote. Luke. Second vote. Luke. That's 2 votes Luke, 0 Emma. Third vote. Emma. It's already more dramatic than last time. That's 2 votes Luke, 1 vote Emma. Luke, you need 1 more vote to win. Emma. Why are there 6 votes?
What? 1 from Shovel. Oh my god.
Did you put 1 in from Shovel?
It says ignore it. It's not a legitimate vote.
1 vote for Shovel.
Wouldn't be a jury vote without it.
All right. That's 2 votes Luke, 2 votes Emma, 1 vote Shovel.
Yeah.
And the winner of Total Drama Survivor Cursed, Emma.
Shut up! No! It's just like the bottle challenge.
It's a circle! This is so thematic and beautiful.
Can we reveal our votes?
It's like the whole thing was written or something.
Oh, okay, well, you just gave up half of it.
I won Survivor.